Welcome back. A much-discussed phone call recently took place between United States President Donald Trump and Chinese President Xi Jinping. The big question on everyone's mind? Did this conversation do anything to actually ease the ongoing trade friction between the world's two largest economies? The short answer, according to initial analyses, is don't get your hopes up. Let's break down why. The recent phone call, reportedly lasting 90 minutes, was the first known direct conversation between President Trump and President Xi since Trump began his second term. From the United States perspective, the discussion was almost entirely focused on trade, a point President Trump himself emphasized. This call came after a period of heightened tensions and stalled talks, with some reports suggesting President Xi had made President Trump wait for this engagement. So, what exactly was achieved? And perhaps more importantly, what wasn't?
From President Trump's side, he announced a significant win, a commitment from China to restore the flow of crucial rare earth magnets. Before the call, Trump had described Xi as very tough and extremely hard to make a deal with, but later stated he got what he wanted regarding these strategically important materials. However, it remains somewhat unclear if Beijing has agreed to expedite the export licenses for these magnets, a key point of contention.
For China, the concessions seem less direct. President Xi reportedly secured an assurance that the United States would welcome Chinese students, an issue of considerable importance to Beijing, especially after recent United States moves to revoke some student visas. Beyond this, China's main gain appears to be a potential pause on further punitive United States measures, with Xi urging the United States to remove existing negative measures. However, this assurance regarding students, while welcome in Beijing, isn't seen by analysts as substantial enough on its own to signal a major shift. Crucially, the call does not appear to have tackled the more complex, foundational issues driving the United States-China trade war. There was no talk of altering existing tariffs, like the United States tariffs of around 30% on many Chinese goods, or China's 10% retaliatory tariffs, which were part of a temporary 90-day agreement reached in May. Nor was there a resolution to the deeper structural economic disagreements.
Interestingly, a significant portion of the call was dedicated to the Taiwan issue. Chinese state media reported that President Xi urged the United States to handle the Taiwan question with prudence. He also issued a warning about fringe separatists potentially dragging both nations into confrontation or even conflict over Taiwan. According to these reports, President Trump stated the United States will honor the One China policy.
This focus on Taiwan has, understandably, caused unease in Taipei. Taiwanese politicians have expressed anxiety, with some noting that such high-level calls often occur when a consensus is deemed reachable by Beijing, raising fears of shifts that might not be in Taiwan's favor. There's a noted skepticism in Taiwan regarding United States commitments, fueled in part by President Trump's past comments on defense and trade issues affecting the island. So, what's the bottom line? While any dialogue between the leaders of the United States and China is noteworthy, this particular call seems to have yielded minimal concrete progress on the major trade disputes. The United States highlighted rare earth magnets, and China likely welcomed a pause on further punitive actions and assurances on student visas. However, these are specific, relatively minor outcomes that don't fundamentally change the challenging trade landscape. The prominence of the Taiwan discussion also underscores how geopolitical fault lines remain deeply intertwined with these economic talks.
The call appears to be more about managing immediate tensions rather than forging a breakthrough.
Indeed, a complex situation with many moving parts. It seems the path to resolving United States-China trade friction remains a long and winding one.